You're listening to Mature Allure. Here, we chat about self care, relationships, careers, and all the things living a mature life includes. I'm your host, Sherri O. Welcome.
Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm racing the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big.
Welcome, Patrice, to Mature Allure. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
No problem, no problem. I saw you on Instagram and I was like, oh my goodness, she's doing fabulous things. I need to talk to her.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
So let's start with you introducing yourself.
Okay, so my name is Patrice Hector. I'm a hairstylist in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been in the beauty industry now for over 30 years. Started over 30 years ago. I was in college, getting my degree in early childhood education. When I would come home in the summertime, I would work in a hair salon. And I fell in love with the beauty industry, and the rest is history.
Wow, so you're in Atlanta.
Yes.
I'm outside Atlanta. I mean, basically Atlanta. I'm in Lawrenceville, so
Oh,
you know.
Lawrenceville. Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. So I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to come see you. So you said you've been in the business over 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I know you have a book, and the name of your book is called The Ultimate Blueprint for Beauty Professionals.
Yes.
So you still have salons in the Atlanta area, though, right?
Yes, I do. I'm still behind the chair 3 to 4 days a week. My specialty is cutting, and I focus on cutting short hair. So 99.9% of my clients wear short hair. And
Okay.
that's one of the things that I specialize in, that I enjoy
Okay.
is
Okay.
cutting.
So where is your salon? Just so people know, so anybody in the Atlanta area can come and check you out. They want that nice cut, that shortcut.
Yes. So I am located in an area in Atlanta called Glenwood Park. It's like in the downtown Atlanta-ish. So I am in. I'm working out of a salon lofts. So I have my own suite. I kind of transitioned to a suite after the pandemic. I was in a traditional salon, but after the pandemic, I decided to go into a suite. My clients felt, more comfortable being more intimate after the pandemic. So that's where I
Okay.
reside now.
Okay. So tell us more about the book.
Okay.
What is it? The Ultimate
The
Blueprint
the
for Beauty
ultimate
Professionals.
blueprint for beauty professionals. So
Okay.
I'll start with, the book is really about my journey as a hairstylist, and I go a little bit more in depth throughout each chapter, just talking about the journey that where I started and where I am to this point. I would say about 10 years ago, I was feeling really burnt out from being behind the chair. I felt like I wasn't growing. I felt stagnant, and I literally just felt stuck. So I started to have to take a look at myself and say, what is it that I'm doing or not doing that's causing me to feel this way? Because I still had a love for the beauty industry, but I just felt stuck. And
Mm.
so I connected with a brand coach at a convention, the Black Enterprise convention, and we connected. We started talking. We started meeting, and she really helped me to niche down and just get some clarity as to where I was and where I wanted to be. So my book goes into detail about that, just my journey and what I did to go from being stuck to unstuck. And so I have 12 chapters in my book that kind of walk you through different things that you need to do in order to move yourself and build your brand behind the chair and beyond.
Okay. So because it is a blueprint, I like that you have blueprint in there because you know what you're getting when you read the title. Like, look,
Right.
I want some information. What would you say you have 12 chapters? What are like three main points? Like, if nobody gets anything else, get this.
Yeah. So one of the things that I always tell stylists, especially beauty professionals that come to me, and they're just feeling stuck, I always say you need to get clarity and niche down in your industry. A lot of times, we as creatives, we feel like we have to do everything. But when
Mm-hmm.
you become an expert in whatever it is that you are very passionate about doing, I think that takes your business to the next level. So the first thing I would say is to gain clarity and to niche down in your industry. Um, Second thing I would say for beauty professionals that are struggling is that for them to figure out different ways within their niche to make more money. There are so many things that you can do once you niche down to be more creative with creating more, not just income behind the chair, but more passive income. Ways for you to make more money, things you can do, whether it's products or retail or creating your own product. So I would say creating multiple streams of income with your niche. The third thing that I would say is to get active, stay social, and so you can stay relevant in the industry. I think that's one of the biggest things that I know when social media first came about. Everybody was just kind of figuring like, okay, what do I do? What do I post? What about, you're hearing all these words. You got to have great content. You got to have this. And you don't really know. So I would say stylists, as creative, we have to keep up with technology portion of the industry because we are running a business behind our chair. So staying social, creating your Instagram page or whatever platform that you decide that you work best on. I would say definitely staying social on social
Okay.
media.
Okay. I know that you mentioned getting clarity, but what has been one lesson you've learned as an entrepreneur, just an entrepreneur in general?
One of the things that I would say for me is just being consistent with whatever it is that I do. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs and, well, just entrepreneurs in general, we may start off one way doing something and then if we're not consistent, then we kind of fall off and then we get frustrated. But one thing that I found over the years, just myself in the industry, the more consistent I am and the more, especially on social media, the more engaging I am, the more I start to build. And I get a lot of feedback and a lot of referrals based on just how I'm interacting. So I would just say stay consistent with whatever it is that you're doing.
And that actually makes sense, seeing since you talked about being um, known and being someone that does short hair. People know that's what you do. They know how well you do it, and
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna keep those clients and get new clients, you know?
Yes.
So that
Yes.
makes a lot of sense. And I think that's actually a good lesson for anybody that's an entrepreneur is consistency in whatever you do. No
Yeah.
matter if it's baking bread, consistently
Yes.
make that bread taste as good as it tastes
As
last
good
time.
as it was the first time.
Because, I hate going to restaurants like, oh, it was so good. And you go back like a
Yes.
third time and you're like, wait a minute.
This is
This is the
not right.
third time I've been here and I'm not liking any of this food again, you know?
Again. Right.
So
Yes.
that that makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
with the book, do you have any upcoming book signing? I know you recently had a book signing,
I
but do
did.
you
I
have any
recently had a
more?
book signing two
Hmm.
weeks ago. It was amazing. I was so excited and just overwhelmed and overjoyed with the love and support. Not just my family and my friends, but my peers. When your
Hmm.
peers come out and they support you,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother
Yes.
level. So I
Yeah.
was super excited, for my peers to come out. I've been getting feedback from people in the beauty industry, and surprisingly enough, I've been getting feedback from just entrepreneurs in general. So one person called me last week and she said, "Don't box yourself in with your books just for beauty professionals because some of the tips that you're giving is just for entrepreneurs in general." So I'm like,
Yeah, that's why
I
I
might need to
asked
do another
too.
edition.
Yeah, that's why I ask because, you know, this is probably like my third business. You know what I mean? And they're just being in business in general, there are lessons you learn each time, but at the
Yes,
same time, they're not necessary. The lessons you learn aren't specific to a particular industry.
right.
It's just like, common courtesy, whatever it is,
Life
like,
lessons,
yeah, life lessons.
client experiences,
It,
all of that.
it's exactly. So
Hmm.
that's actually really good feedback and that you're open to feedback.
Some
Oh
people
yeah,
are open
absolutely.
to feedback. So that's really good feedback that the person was like, hey, don't just box yourself in.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. And I appreciate that that feedback. And some from my peers, I've been getting feedback. Some of the people, well, some of the stylists that have read the book, they're like, "Oh wow, it's almost like a refresher sometimes too. It's like things that
mm-hmm.
that you should be doing, as an entrepreneur and a stylist behind the chair.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're reminded by just like, reading something, or whether it's a book or an article or, a video or something you may watch. And it's inspiring for you to say, you know what, let me start. If she can do it, then I can do it. And that's what I want, one of the takeaways that I want for my book is for stylists to be inspired, because I know personally what it feels like, to be, just like stagnant and stuck. And so once you start to look at things differently, then things start to become different. But it's just a matter of, you really taking some time to unplug, sometimes. And because I think a lot of times we're so busy as entrepreneurs thinking about the money, and we don't really work on the business aspect of,
Mm-hmm.
continuously growing our business. And I know, especially for us in the salon industry, we're behind the chair most of the
Yeah.
time. So Mondays, it's typically our errand days, or, go to the beauty supply, stuff like that. But really sitting down and mapping out and plotting and planning what we can do to really um, not just make more money, but how we can service our clients better, like creating systems and protocols for clients. So I think those are really important things that we should really do, because I think about, like, when I go into another business, I'm always like, we're always thinking about, okay, how was I treated? What was the
Mm-hmm.
customer service like? Clients want the same thing from us. I think a lot of times, some beautiful professionals, me included, we've gotten a little sometimes lax, because when people come to the salon, it's like it's your girlfriend time, because sometimes you may see the same women every week in the
Mm-hmm.
salon. And as stylists too, we get very comfortable. But at the end of the day, our clients are patronizing us, and they deserve to have the best salon experience that they can. And I think that when you have systems in place, you have protocols for your clients, then it just works out. To,
Well, see, that's all great advice, and that's to me the positive side of it. What would be, because sometimes people go into whether it's opening their own salon, starting a business, I'm going to be a millionaire next month when I
right.
do, you know, but like, can you maybe give a little bit, talk a little bit about there might be some pitfalls, but
Oh, absolutely.
how to overcome them or how you even overcame them?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I mean, because there are always going to be humps and bumps in the industry. Um, and one of the ways that I have been able to overcome and to deal with, like, especially like if it's a customer that's not satisfied, communication is key.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping an open line of communications and making sure that you always put your clients first in all that we do. And the biggest thing that I would say for beauty professionals is to make sure that you always keep the client at the forefront of
Mm-hmm.
knowing that, because my clients, this is why I'm able to do certain things, or communicating with your client in a way I've seen and have experienced in the salon setting where there's been a miscommunication with the client and a stylist, and things just got out of hand. But a lot of times I think we don't really listen to our clients and what they're saying, what their needs are. And other sometimes stylists will just kind of do what they want. But the biggest thing for me is communicating and being open and listening to your clients, because at the end of the day, the clients are what allows us to make money, live the lifestyle that we live. And so being very open and communicating with your clients is key. For me, that has helped. That's one of the things that my clients, really always tell me about myself, is just having a safe space for them, to come in and just be open to express themselves, whether it's like, if, for an example, if I have a client that I kind of go off my client's vibes too. Like, if a client comes in and she's very talkative, I know she wants to talk. If my client comes in and she's like in her zone, she may have, things going on. I don't take it personal. I kind of give them their space, and I kind of talk about something that I know that makes them happy, or that's a conversation that we've had previously, whether it's their kids or family members or whatever. But just keeping an open line of communication and making your clients feel safe and comfortable in your space, I think really makes a difference with how the clients trust you, trust us.
Mm-hmm. So where can or how can people purchase your book?
So you can purchase my book on my website at patricehector.com. And you just click the link. It says The Ultimate Blueprint for Beauty Professionals. And we'll get it right out to you.
Well, now, I got to sneak in some hair questions.
Okay. All right. Okay.
One of those questions being, because you're known as an expert for cutting short hair.
Okay.
Like, what advice would you give somebody who has medium to longer hair that might be thinking about a shortcut? What advice would you give to them if they're interested in going in that direction?
One of the things that I will always tell my clients, because I always do a consultation, especially not just my new clients, but my regular clients too, because, things change, lifestyles change. I have some clients that want really short hair. They still want short hair, but they may want a pixie style like mine's, or they may want to grow it out a little shorter bob. I always like to do a consultation, but the biggest thing I tell clients is to make sure that you try to choose a hairstyle based on your lifestyle. How much time do you have in the morning to, focus on your hair? Do you want to stay natural, or do you want chemicals? That's a big thing, because a lot of times people believe, like, they're looking at social media and they're looking at all these pictures on Instagram and they're like, oh, I want my hair like that. But your hair is natural. It may, depending on the texture, it may not lay that way if you decide that you don't want to go into chemicals. So I always try to make sure that clients are okay with either whatever style they choose, that you're able to maintain it at home. Because for me, that's really big, to be able to, I don't like to have my clients that come into the salon, they get a haircut or a service that they cannot maintain at home, because one, they're going to get frustrated, and then the ball is going to always fall back on me.
Yeah.
So I make sure that we have a consultation. That is key, because you really.
Your audio? Okay. Yeah, that's better. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I would just say, having a consultation, whether it's virtual or in person, it helps you to understand your clients and what their needs are.
I'm trying to give it a second,
Okay.
only because I don't know how it happens. So sometimes when you're talking, the audio's coming ahead and then the words are coming.
Oh,
so I know
okay. Like a delay.
Yeah, and we're back on. We're back on schedule now. So everything is cool. Okay. That's good advice. And what you said about the whole natural thing, that is very true, because I think sometimes people think, especially if they're going natural. I mean, I've been natural off and on for a long time. That hair, no matter really kind of the texture, it's not going to lay the same every day.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's just not
gonna lay the same.
It's not. And especially if you decide that you want to go to a shortcut, it's just not going to lay the same. And you're not going to get the end result that you saw in that picture. And then that's very frustrating.
Yeah. Okay. So now this is the other thing. Gray. What are your suggestions on maintaining it and products for gray hair?
Okay, so gray hair can be really tricky, depending on if you're a natural or if you are relaxed. Um, Sometimes when you are natural, I would say you always want to try to get a shampoo or some type of conditioner that will take it called taking the yellow out if you're going to put heat to it, because heat tends to change the color of gray hair if it's the flat irons are too hot, if the blow dryer is too hot. So just making sure that you are getting the right products, and the heat is major. Like, I've seen clients that come in and I can always tell, like, if they're curling their hair too much at home, because on their ends, it will tend to be like a greenish, yellowish color. So, and it's not really anything that you could do to remove that from the hair without like actually cutting those ends off. So with my clients, we go through a regimen. I have a product, a shampoo and a conditioner that I use for my clients, and it helps to maintain the vibrant of their hair, the vibrant of their hair with it being gray. But the biggest thing is shampoo, conditioner, and not putting a lot of heat on your hair.
Okay.
If you wear it in a straight style. Now, if you're natural, then you just want to make sure that you are, shampooing and conditioning with a product that's going to help your gray have more vibrant. See?
Okay. Well, I try and cover mine up when I can. So
Me too.
it's just like, oh yeah. But
Yes.
one
I
day,
call mine the dark sauce. I like the dark sauce in my hair.
right? Me too. I mean, one day we'll see. I don't know. Now, you mentioned too much heat and the color turning like a greenish yellow color, yellow or whatever.
Most of the time that happens if you have chemicals. So
Okay.
typically whatever the ingredient, there's an ingredient in the relaxer that may turn the
Ah,
hair, but your stylist would just use a product that will kind of remove that, and that's pretty easy to do. So the chemical, and just be careful with the temperature of the heat when if you're wearing a straight style with gray hair, because keeping it too hot will cause it to have that kind of a burnt looking
mhm.
color, greenish yellowish color. So just being cautious of the heat and the chemicals.
Okay. What about thinning hair? Because I know sometimes as women, we get older, our hair, just even from styling, it
Mm-hmm.
starts to look thin. I
Yeah,
think maybe suffering a little bit from thinning hair. It might not look like it, but yeah, when your
yeah.
hair starts to thin.
So with hair loss and thinning, that's kind of a tricky question, because sometimes it could be menopause, sometimes it could be medication, sometimes it could be protective styles that people are not maintaining. So the biggest thing that I would say with hair loss and thinning is to make sure that your stylist, that you're having an open line of communication with them to try to get to the point to know what is causing the hair loss and the thinning. Stress sometimes,
Mm.
diet, exercise. So all of those things are very important when you're trying to figure out why you're having hair loss and thinning. I know that for me personally, some of my clients that are on certain types of medication, I've noticed a change in their hair
Mhm.
texture. And then, clients that are going through menopause, I've noticed, and stress is a major portion, and diet and exercise, and staying hydrated, drinking a lot of water, making sure that you're eating the right foods, protein, having heavy protein in your diet, whatever way that you get your protein.
Mhm.
But that's major. So just really trying to get to the root of the problem, if it's medication, stress, menopause.
Okay. Well, girl, we have talked about a lot. I mean, I feel like I've gotten a lot of information from you, um, to go from the industry to hair itself. And I ask these questions not just because I think others want to know about them, but like because I'm curious too. And these are
Yeah, for
issues
sure.
that, I'm having, and like I said, I feel like my hair is thinning a little bit. And when you mentioned medicine, yeah, I'm on more medicine, a little bit more medicine now. It's different. They changed it. So that is a big thing. Along with, menopause could be an issue for some. It's a lot of different things. So good information. I'm glad you were able to come, Patrice.
Yes.
If you could share with us how somebody can get in touch with you if they want to get in touch with you about maybe a speaking engagement or, your book.
Yes.
Any other hair questions?
Okay.
How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so the best way to reach out to me is on my website. My website will have links for you to whatever it is, whether it's a hair appointment, to purchase the book. It's patricehector.com. I am on all social media platforms as Patrice Hector. And you can shoot me a DM, or you can send me an email via my website, and we can connect that way. That's the best way to connect with me.
Sounds good. Thank you, Patrice, for coming to Mature Allure. I really appreciate it. And I want us to keep in touch. We're both here in Atlanta. So
absolutely.
Area. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Thank you again.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Mature Allure. For more information about us, visit matureallure.net and get social with us on Instagram and YouTube at mature.allure, Facebook at @formatureallure, and Twitter at mature_allure. Till next time, we encourage you to stay positive, embrace who you are at every stage of your life, and always tap into your mature allure.